What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. This is going to be one of my late chats. I rarely do a live stream this late, but being that I didn't go live earlier, and I had a little downtime. I thought it was imperative that I did what I would like to call my tear talk session. And my tear talk session is basically when I talk about things that go on within a correctional facility. It's a lot that goes on. It's a lot of things that you eventually end up observing as you become if you're in the field of law enforcement, or if you're thinking about or considering getting into the field of law enforcement, especially being a female officer. There are a lot of things that you need to be aware of. It's a lot of things you need to be cautious of, and it's unfortunate that there's too many female officers that are still getting bamboozled. We lost another female officer today. Another one got terminated because she was sneaking in items, sneaking in contraband for another inmate. And this happens way too frequently. As much as we are trained and we are told from day one, do not let these dudes infiltrate, do not let them get in your mind, do not let these guys manipulate you. These females are still falling prey to the penis penitentiary penis. If that's more of a correct word. It's a lot of females that are still falling prey to it. They're falling prey to these inmates. And it's a lot of factors behind that, which is the reason why I'm going to be talking about that this evening, because it is just so nerve-wracking. Every time you turn around, you find that another female officer has been fired. She's been terminated. Her face is on the news. You're embarrassed because all your coworkers know. Not only that, you got to deal with your family. Absolutely stupid is not even a word, lovely, but you're already hitting right on the nail. It's just going on way too frequently. For some of you who are not familiar, but most of y'all who have been with me for a while, y'all should already be aware of that. I've been doing corrections for a year and a half. And as I've come to, being in this profession for a while, there's a lot of things that I have witnessed, and I realize there are so many factors that play into how females are so easily manipulated by the game of inmates. And if you're somebody who's considering getting into law enforcement, or you're somebody who's just curious and want to know, what all of the in and outs, that comes with, being a female correctional officer. Every once in a while I'll do a session called my tear talk. And anyway, I realized that most of the females that fall prey to inmates, they either got one or two to a couple of issues. For one, most female officers who fall prey to inmates are either, first reason is they're very young. Most of the female inmates that get caught up are usually under the age of 30. I really don't even agree with female officers being hired at the age of 21. I think that is way too young for females to get hired at that age because, for one, they're not experienced. They are not really prepared for all the game that is out there. I really think women over the age of 30 or higher should become correctional officers. But I can't really say that either because I know some 30-year-old women that are 30 and up that got minds like 21-year-olds. So you really can't go by the age. You got to go by the psyche and the maturity level of that particular female. You do have some 20s that have more common sense than some women in their 40s. So you really can't too much go by age. You really have to go by the mindset of the particular female. But what I'm noticing is most females that are getting caught up are females under the age of 30. These young broads that are coming in, only 21. What's up, Cartier? Lovely. Everybody's entering the chat. I'm noticing it's mostly females. These females are probably ain't even been out of high school a good year or two. And these are the main ones that be applying for a position to become a correctional officer. My daughter, she's a juvenile correctional officer. She's only 19. She's considering crossing over into becoming a correctional officer dealing with adults. Now, I already made it very clear to her that I would not prefer for her um to get in the profession of becoming a correctional officer for adults until she's at least had 3 years of experience in law enforcement. Whenever you get these young girls that are fresh off the street, kind of just getting out of high school a year or two, still living with their mommy, still living with their daddy, just getting a first apartment or whatever. In other words, they just really still basically they're still maturing. When you have these young women coming into this type of profession, they are easy to fall prey to these inmates because a lot of them are still emotionally underdeveloped. You have a lot of these females that are not prepared for all of the game these inmates have, because you can say what you want to say about an inmate, but at the end of the day, these guys are very skilled at what they do. They are very skilled. They're professional manipulators. They're professional con artists. They may be criminals, but they're not dumb by a long shot. They're not dumb. They're not slow. They're very wise. A lot of these inmates, they may have an issue with staying, with I know what I'm trying to say. They may have issues as far as with not, you know, being obedient to the law and not following the rules of the laws of the land. But these guys are still very smart. They're highly intelligent. They're very wise. You're not dealing with dummies. You're dealing with skilled professionals. Okay. And a lot of these guys, they've been criminals the majority of their life. Some of them, the majority of them are career criminals. So they specialize and criminal activity. And not only that, they specialize in game. They got the gift of gab. And if you're one of those females, you are young, you're gullible, or you love to seek attention, I don't recommend you get into this type of profession at all. What's up, Mr. Harvey and my sis Poetic? How's my people doing? Good to see y'all. This is just one of my little late chats, my peer talk session where I talk about things that go on within behind closed doors within the correctional facilities. As I stated before, for everybody who doesn't know, I've been in corrections for like a year and a half, and I would say this is definitely. Um, I came into corrections fresh off the street. I had no experience whatsoever in dealing with inmates. I had no experience whatsoever. I did not know what the hell I was signing up for when I decided to become a correctional officer. Seeing it on TV and actually doing it is two totally different things. When you actually get up in that facility behind closed doors, First of all, to give everybody a visual insight of pretty much the average day for a correctional officer. When you first come in, you're debriefed by your lieutenant, your sergeant. They'll let you know everything that happened that day as soon as you come in. They'll let you know how many fights happened that day. They'll let you know what inmates need to be separated because usually by the time you come in, several things have happened. Either a fight didn't happen, either threats were made, something happened. So it's very important that whenever we first come on shift, we're already notified about everything that went down. You may be told inmate Johnson, inmate Jenkins had a physical altercation. Not only I deal with the male inmates, but I also deal with the female inmates, which is the worst. I would rather deal with 500 men. I'd rather be over 500 men than to be over 5 women. Honestly, I would rather if I had it my way, I don't even want to deal with female inmates. I'd rather just deal with the men. To me, the men are easier. The men are easier, and I'm gonna break all of that down later on. When I say I'd rather deal with male inmates than females. Honestly, like for real. So you come in, you get your brief, you told about what happened. You're going to be told about what inmates got rolled up. You've been getting inmates that get rolled up for stupid stuff, getting rolled up because they passing commissary, sneaking items, going into people's cells, stealing stuff out somebody's cell, all of the stuff you're briefed and you're notified about. You're told about the new policies and new procedures because an officer did something dumb. An officer probably left a pen on her desk and turned her back, and the inmate stole it and stabbed another inmate with it. Now the new policy is okay, you cannot leave any pens on your desk anymore. Depending on what the hell happened throughout that day, you're going to be debriefed on that. So after you've been debriefed and you've been told everything that happened with the shift prior before you come on. You first go into your dorm. You go into your wing. I would say it's roughly the amount of inmates I deal with is varies between 50 to maybe 72 on average day. So mind you, it's just one little me and it's like 72 inmates. And I'm by myself and I'm over all of these 72 inmates. Okay. So as a correctional officer, you're going to be outnumbered. Okay. So they put you in, you uh, go into your wing, you give your directives. I'm going in and out. Let me see. Let me know if I'm going in and out. This mic better not be tripping on me now. Let me see. This is Section A. This is Section A microphone. I may have to upgrade and get a one that's a lot more reliable. Let me know if my voice is still acting up because if so, I'm gonna just unplug it and speak directly through my speaker. Then women don't have a chance against real game. Oh, absolutely. I was referenced to Fulton County, Atlanta, CO. Maybe family, but I still felt that's police, but I can sell water to a well. Coincidentally, Cartier, I just went through JTO training with some of the officers from Fulton. They came down there to do 1 week training with us to become a JTO, which is a jail training officer. And I think it was like 7 of them that came down to train with us here in Chatham County. They were really, really cool people. They was really, really professional. Really, I liked training with them. I think it was like 4 female officers and like 3 male officers that came from Fulton County, and they trained with us for 1 week, and they were really, really cool peoples. Yeah, so they was sharing some of their stories with us about some of the things that they go through also with the inmates up there, and they basically told me when it comes to dealing with the female inmates, you have to know how to fight because you're going to be fighting. And I thought that was interesting because I'm like, wow, I thought I had it rough where I was, but nevertheless, yeah, some jails are way more off the chain than others, and they say Fulton County is definitely, off the chain. That's Atlanta, for everybody who's not familiar with Fulton County. Um, but yeah, so basically I go on my wing. All of the inmates are already locked down prior before I come in. When I enter my wing, the officer who was there throughout the whole day shift, because I work night shift. I don't work day shift, and there's a reason for that. I don't like to work day shift because there's just too many eyes on you doing day shift. Everybody's there. The LT there, the sergeant there. It's just way too many people there throughout the day. So I don't do day shift. I work at night because to me it's less people. And not only that, I'd rather deal with the inmates when they sleep. I don't want to deal with them when they highly alert. And during the day shift, after they done slept the majority of the night, they fully energized. That's usually when inmates are more turned up during the daytime. So I'd rather deal with them at night. I'm gonna always, as long as I can, I'm gonna always work night shift when it comes to inmates because um by the time I go in 8 o'clock that evening, they lock down at 10:30. So I only got to deal with them for 2 hours. After 2 hours, they lock down. The rest of my 9, 10 hours that I got, I don't have to deal with them. Only thing I have to do is walk around and supervise, walk around and do my security checks and, peep through their cells and make sure they ain't killing themselves or killing somebody else or doing something crazy. But I like night shift because the inmates are asleep and I rather deal with them when they asleep. That's just my preference. Everybody not night shift people. Some people rather deal with inmates throughout the day because day shift goes by much quicker. Day shift, that is usually when everything really is more turned up. That's when you have the most fights. That's when you have the most problems because again, everybody's well energized. Everybody's, fully alert, fully awake. So, you know, that's usually when stuff occurs the most. So anyway, when I go in, the officer that will inform me and put me on everything that happened in the shift throughout her shift. She may tell me, hey, this is what went on today. So and so told me earlier that he's thinking about killing himself. You know, he lost his mom. He found out his mom died, or he found out his wife is divorcing him. She just sent divorce papers here. Just keep an eye on him, just in case. Seems like he kind of had a rough day today because he had got some bad news. So the officer will alert me of everything that has happened. They got their jumpsuits, they got their chow, um, they what else they might tell you? Just stuff like we had a short supply on toilet tissue today. So if they ask you for tissue, let them know we won't have a next shipment in. We won't get another shipment until tomorrow morning, something like that. Or something like that. So anyway, after she has to brief me, we have to go around and do security checks together. So I go from door to door. She pops the door open. I go in, physically walk in every cell and make sure these guys just do a brief check, make sure they don't have things in their cell that they shouldn't have. They have a tendency to take their soda bottles and they like to put chemicals in it. They like to put bleach in it, little chemicals, things that they know they should not be having. These are the things we have to confiscate. If we see things in a room that they shouldn't have, we take it out of their room. A lot of them have the tendency to make clotheslines. They'll make these long clotheslines so they can hang up their clothes. We take stuff like that. Anything that they're not supposed to have because that's a choking hazard or whatever. So anyway, so after we go through all of these cells and I speak to all the guys, say how you doing, whatever. After we have went through the bottom and then we went to the top, I sign off on the paperwork, making sure the count is clear. Soon as she leaves, I say, all right, okay, gentlemen, good evening. Go by the name of Officer So and So, letting you gentlemen know when you come out, please make sure your jumpsuit is buttoned all the way up. I do not want to see your chest. Also, please come out with your mask on. Make sure you have your armbands on. Gentlemen, do not pass any contraband. Do not pass any commissary. If I catch you passing any of these items, you will be getting 7 days LOP, loss of privileges, meaning no phone calls, no visitation, no commissary. Also, if I catch you doing this, blah, 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 blah. So I give them all of my rules before they come out. So they come out, they watch their TV, they do their thing, whatever, whatever. So Anyway, I don't want to have to take y'all through the whole tour, the boring stuff or whatever. It's just typical daily routine things that I do. So basically, like I said, in every wing, majority of the time, I'm by myself. So I have 76 grown ass men who I have to supervise. Okay. So I have to make sure I keep my eyes on these guys and they're not doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Most of the time, my biggest issue with the when it comes to doing the male wings, the male wings, the wings with just the male inmates. The only problems I really have out of them is they just like to keep passing stuff. They have a big issue with passing stuff. Um, they like to, sneak each other items under the door. They like to slide each other snacks. They like to pass each other commissary. Now I know a lot of people like, okay, why bother these inmates about commissary? It's no big deal. Why can't they get an extra bag of chips if they want to give each other some chips, if they want to give each other some cookies? What's the big deal? I mean, they are paying for their commissary. Why can't they give their commissary to who they want to give them to? It's way more to it than what meets the eye. It's more than just a pack of cookies. It's more than just a pack of chips. It's a lot that comes with that. Some of these guys get bullied for their commissary. They don't be wanting to give out their commissary, but they be getting bullied for it. Another thing I didn't realize, I found out that there was inmates bullying other inmates, making inmates pay for rent. Now, how the hell do you have an inmate paying another inmate for rent in the cell? The cell is state property. None of these dudes own a cell. But come to find out, a lot of inmates was getting bullied, forced to pay rent. The most dominant inmates was bullying the weaker inmates to pay rent in the cell through commissary. Little things like that, you'll be surprised, you know, uh the corruption, the stuff that really goes on that you don't always hear about. Yes, you have inmates charging other inmates for rent. In other words, if me and you share the cell together, oh, you got to give me your cookies. Every time you get commissary, you got to give me 3 bags of chips. That's your rent. If you want to stay in the cell without me beating the hell out you, without me bullying you every night, then you got to pay me some rent. Which means every week when you get your commissary, you got to get me something up out of that. Long as you giving me something out your commissary or you ordering stuff for me off the commissary, then I won't give you hell in the cell. That's how that's how bad it is. Cartier says Atlanta streets is opposites. In the day is chill, but at night it's turned on the streets. Yeah. Like I said, I just know, in the jail itself, I rather work night shift because it's not that turned up. It's more calm for me. For me, it is. It's more calm. Now, this isn't to say that we don't have fights. We do have stuff that will occur. We do have things that happens, but I notice most things happen throughout the day. So anyway, moving right along with how these male officers infiltrate female officers. Dealing with men, being a female officer and dealing with um a large, substantial amount of inmates, male inmates, because like I said, it's like what 65 to 70 inmates that we are over. These guys have all day to study how you move as a woman. They have all day. To the point when I say they study everything, they study everything. They study the creases you have in your pants when you ironed your pants. They study how shiny your boots are. They study how you wear your hair. When I tell you these guys notice everything, they don't miss a beat. They even notice if you're wearing a different watch. They have all day, all night to just observe and watch everything that you do, because it's just one of you and it's several of them. So you have to mentally keep in mind when you enter into these wings with these male inmates that whatever personal shit you're going through at home, I don't care if you and your husband was arguing the night before. I don't care if you and your boyfriend got into an argument that morning. Whatever personal stuff you went through, you cannot by any means bring it with you. And the problem is a lot of females, officers, especially these young females, they let it be evident that they're going through something. It takes a real woman to be able to go through personal bullshit and still know how to keep composure. And it takes maturity. It takes maturity and it takes strength for a real woman to still be able to conceal her pain, conceal her personal struggles, and not allow it to affect her her profession. Exactly. Signs of weakness. And females who lack discipline, who lack maturity, I notice a lot, especially these young females that are under the age of 30, they come to work with a chip on their shoulder. These inmates can tell when you are in distress. These inmates can tell when you're sad. They can tell when you're mad through your tone, your attitude. They can pick up on it instantly. And that's the biggest problem with a lot of females, because females, we are emotional creatures. We allow stuff to bend us out of shape, and we don't know how to. And because we're women, we're emotional creatures by nature. Um, the majority of the time, we struggle with um, keeping our composure, even when we're under pressure, even when we're having a bad day. And these guys, they know you. They can tell when something bothers you, because these guys have gotten used to you. If you're usually the bubbly officer, you're usually the friendly officer, and you come in every morning, you speak to everybody, hi, how you guys doing, blah blah blah. That's your usual routine. You come in and you speak to them. This particular morning, you ain't speaking to nobody. They're gonna pick up on it instantly. They'll pick up on it instantly. I've had inmates, because at the end of the day, I'm a human being. So it's been times when I might have had a rough morning, and it wasn't necessarily because something was going wrong in my personal life, like me and my husband was arguing and beefing. Could have been something as simple as, hell, I wasn't able to get my coffee from Starbucks, so I'm pissed that I wasn't able to get my coffee. So now I got to start off my morning without my coffee. And I could be real beastie when I don't have my coffee. It could be something as simple as that. And because I didn't come in speaking normally like I always do, they'll figure something wrong. Off CO, you good? You okay? You having an all right morning? They pick up on every little thing. So that's one key that I tell a lot of officers, is that whenever you start off in this type of profession, however you start off, that's the way you're going to have to be. You have to be consistent. Other words, you can't be a nice, in a good mood, nice, friendly officer today, and then tomorrow you nasty, you got a bad attitude, and you in your feelings. However you set the tone, however you start off with the inmates, that's the way you're going to have to be. You can't be up and down, in and out, because you create problems for yourself when you do that. So you're gonna have to be consistent. If you're one of those officers, you firm but you fair, you stay firm and fair. Don't one minute be firm and fair, and then next minute you let them do what the hell they want to do. Now that they get on your damn nerves. Now today you want to be hardcore. Well, whatever you decide to be, you have to stay that way at all times. What's up, Samuel Williams? I know, long time, because I never usually do live stream this late. So this is my Tear Talk session, everybody who's coming in. I'm talking about how female correctional officers get mentally infiltrated by inmates, because we lost another female officer today. Unfortunately, she let a dude get in her head. She had him sneaking in things for her, and it cost her career. a cost of her job. So to really get more intact with how female correctional officers get mentally infiltrated, for one, as I stated, these inmates pay full attention to your every move. They are very detailed. They pay attention to how you wear your hair. They pay attention to what kind of perfume you're wearing. They pay attention to everything. When I say they pay attention, they literally pay attention. I usually wear my same shoes every day, my same slip resistant shoes. I purchased me a new pair of boots from the uniform store. They noticed it. First thing they did that was my feet. Oh, CO, I see you got you some new boots. You wearing some new kicks today. They notice everything. Then there was another time because I wear my rings. I wear my wedding rings a lot. I have three of them. And this one particular because this one particular morning I forgot my rings. I left them to the house because what happened was I was washing dishes with bleach, and I don't like to wash dishes with bleach, and I got my rings on because it tends to loosen up your stones over time, especially if you do it a lot. And I wash dishes with bleach every day. This particular morning, I forgot to put my rings on before I left my house because I was in a rush. So when I went to work, I didn't have my rings on. As I was doing my security check, one of the inmates asked me about my rings. Now, me, I wasn't even thinking about it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, uh, it just didn't really dawn on me like that. It's been a couple of times I left the house every once in a while, but I just never really thought nothing much of it, because I usually go back and I get my rings. But this particular time, I was in the jail facility, so I couldn't leave and go back and get my rings. This guy, he know what this all a couple of the inmates, they noticed that I didn't have my wedding rings on, and they asked me about it, as if me forgetting my rings is a sign that my marriage in trouble. Like, really? What's up, American Negro? You think you were fair in prison as opposed to jail? You think you could do it? Um, Believe it or not, Larry, that's a good question. Let me go ahead and post that. And I'll get back to that thought about my ring. The question was how you think you would fare in prison or opposed to jail. You think you could do it? Um, I've actually heard, believe it or not, I heard that prison is easier than jail due to the fact that this is what I heard is that a lot of these guys know they're going to be there for a while. The acceptance is more solid there because prison is prison. It's like you're not going anywhere, so it's like you're in a home away from home. um and not only that, I heard in many instances, I've heard more inmates complain about my jail than prison. I've had a lot of inmates complain about the jail where I work at. They hate the jail I work at. A lot of them were so glad when it was time for them to get transferred to prison because in jail we're a little bit more nitpicky. We're a lot more nitpicky. We take away privileges left and right. We're constantly staying on them. We constantly enforcing policies and procedures all of the time. A lot of inmates, they hate jail. I've heard more compliments with prison than jail. So, to answer your question, um, as far as how would I feel with prison, working in prison versus in jail, I'm comfortable working in a jail. Uh, I won't want to work in a prison because I really feel like those guys have nothing to lose. You got more lifers in prison than you have jail. Than you have in jail. Dealing in the jail, I mostly deal with low offenders. Now, don't get me wrong, we have a lot of murderers in there. We have a lot of them. We have a lot of gangbangers and stuff, but basically, jail is just a holding place till they get to the big house. You get what I'm saying? So, um, I wouldn't want to do a prison. Not only that, my husband would be dead set against it because one time I was going to apply to a prison, and my husband was like, "Ah, "No, jail one thing, but My husband definitely wasn't going for it. And like I said, secondly, um, those guys got nothing to lose. The type of offenders I deal with is mostly probation violation, child support payers, and those who have committed murders and malice murders and aggravated assaults and major offenses. We're basically just a holding place. So the level of threat is not as severe compared to a prison. So no, I would not work a prison. Definitely wouldn't. But that's a very good question. Um, I think I'm sure I could do it, but I'm just not about to bring that extra pressure on myself. I'm just not about to do that. I'd rather work with the jail because for one, my job is only 10 minutes away from where I live. Most of the prisons, they far out. You're talking about like a 30, 45-minute drive. That I'm not about to do. I'm not about to put that type of strain on myself or whatever. So um other than that, I'm comfortable where I'm at. Just to basically answer your question, no, I'd rather be in a jail. But yeah, that's a good question, Mr. Larry. Appreciate it. Um, Streets aren't a sale. People pay attention to detail. It's a way to stay safe. Good point indeed. Cartier, absolutely good point indeed. But the only thing in jail is worse because um you're in the same small perimeters with these individuals. That's the only part that makes it worse. At least in the street, you're kind of passing by. You're not confined to the same individuals all the time. In jail, you are confined to these dudes. It's almost like they become your children in a sense because they know how you are, and then you know how some of they how you know how some of them are. You know how some of they are. You know what I'm saying? You almost have like a relationship with them, and I mean that in a professional way. You almost have a relationship with them. When I go in a certain wing, I know how some of the inmates are, and the majority of them know how I am. The majority of them, their perception of me is I'm the officer that's firm, but I'm fair. The majority of them have told me that. The majority of them have told me, you're one of those officers I can respect you because you go by the books. Now, out of my whole year, I've been there a year. I say I probably only got cussed out maybe about 4 or 5 times on my hand that I could think of. So I haven't had a lot of nasty altercations with male inmates because for one, I don't go back and forth with them. I say what I mean what I say, and that's it. I'm not about to go back and forth and argue with you like we husband and wife. And they know that. Now, if any certain verbal altercations I had, it's only was because either A, they kept pushing a luck to where I had to take it to another level and write them up. Like for instance, I had this one particular inmate. He was a young dude, and you can tell he was one of those young dudes that was used to having his way with females. You know, and I never forget this one particular time. Appreciate it, Larry, for the $2 donation. Thank you very much. Thank you for answering my question. Stay safe. I so appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Larry. Appreciate that. Well, before I go into that, because I forgot about the situation with the ring, let me take y'all back to that. Um, I forgot my rings. Like I said, I left my red rings to the house. So when I came to work and I didn't have my rings on, that was the first question one of them asked me. It was like, CO, my last name, CO blah blah. Or why you ain't got your rings on? I'm like, what is it to you? I said, it's none of your business. But since you want to know, I don't have my rings because I was washing dishes. That's why. Oh, really? No, you must be ain't got your rings because of something else, blah, blah, blah. I said, look, kid, let me tell you something. What I do in my personal life, that is none of your business. And if I wasn't married, you still didn't stand a chance. So don't be keeping up with what I do and what I don't do. I put them in their place immediately. Thank you, Datorian. Appreciate it for always donating to the Mocha's Cafe de Paris brand. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They will sit up here. They notice everything. They notice everything. And because I didn't have my rings on, they felt like, I guess it was an indication that I was having trouble in my marriage or whatever the case is. I said, me not having my rings on, that don't make me less married. Like I told him, I said, I know women who wear rings and they don't act like they're married. My rings don't define me as a married woman, and it doesn't define me as a married woman. I'm married whether I have my rings or not. But what I told him was, I said, you better be concerned about who's making love to your old lady because you locked up in here. You better worry about what Jody is doing to your old lady, because at the end of the day, I'm only here for 12 hours. I get to go home to my companion. Now, you, on the other hand, I doubt very seriously your baby mama is sitting in her Section A apartment thinking about you and not getting no pipe at night. And that's exactly what I told him. Don't come for me. What's up, Red Mike Radio? Yeah, but I had to get him right together because I didn't have my rings on. He was trying to question what was going on in my household. I said, bro, don't even come at me like that because you don't know me, and this is not Match.com. I don't you don't ask me the questions. I ask you the questions. So this is what I mean by this is why I'm doing this topic, talking about how female correctional officers get mentally infiltrated by inmates. So like I stated, these guys, they notice everything about you. Secondly, um, the issue is you cannot be a woman who loves attention. And I think that's the biggest thing with a lot of us as black women. The reason why so many black women that are female officers who get caught up, a lot of us are attention starved. You have you just have some black women who they just love attention. In prison and jail is the worst place to be a woman who's seeking attention because they got all day to give you that. Yep, Cardia, and that's exactly what I told him. I bet you he kept his mouth closed. Oh man, you wrong for that, man. Why you had to say that, man? Well, I'm just telling you. I doubt your old lady sitting up here waiting on you. Yeah, she putting money on the book. She may be doing all that, but she getting some wood on the outside of that. That's exactly what I told him. So, you get these guys, they try to do little slick stuff. When I'm walking around and doing my rounds, it's always that one thirst bucket who will call me to his cell about 3, 4 in the morning. But I'm doing my security checks because we got to walk around and do our security checks every so many minutes. And it's always that one clown who gonna try you. Now, mind you, I'm doing my security check. He calls me to his cell. Of course, it's my job. If an inmate called me to his cell, I'm gonna go to his cell because I got to make sure, it's not a medical. He's not, having a nosebleed. He's not having asthma attack, something major. So I don't care what time of night it is. If the inmate tells you, I need you to come to my cell or whatever, it's your job to go and see what that inmate needs. Now I get to his cell. Okay, is everything going? You all right, Mr. Brown? What's going on? Um, you know, I just kind of wanted somebody to talk to. I can't sleep. Excuse me? Yeah, man, I just need somebody to kind of talk to. I'm struggling trying to get to sleep. So where you from? I said, no, 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 no. I said, hold on, wait a minute. I said, first of all, do you see what time it is? It's 3 in the morning. You don't have me to come down from my desk to walk all the way over here to your cell because you need a comforting conversation. I'm not here to accommodate you for conversation. Do you have an emergency? Are you dying? Are you having a stroke? Are you having an asthma attack? Do you need to see a nurse? Well, no. I said, all right, then we don't have nothing to discuss. Do not call me to your cell no 3, 4 in the morning for non-emergency reasons. I have 65 other inmates in this facility who I have to supervise. I'm not going to be plastered up to your door having boothang conversations with you. Now let this be your last time you call me over to your cell this time of night for some foolishness. You call me over here again for something irrelevant, I'm gonna write you up and I'm gonna take away 7 days worth of privileges. Now try me. Yes, she is everyone. We must have you out there. Appreciate it, Queen. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. That means a lot, especially coming from sisters. Because them the ones I usually go in on the most. So thank you. I really, really appreciate the support. Means so much. I had to get him right together. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand we are human beings. I try to, you know, treat them like they're human. I'll have conversations with them. I'll talk to them. But when I see you taking a conversation other directions that don't need to go, that's why I have to put you in your place. It's none of your business how long me and my husband been married. That's none of your business. It's none of your business how many children I got. It's none of your business what side of town I stay on. That none of that is your business. You are an inmate, not my soulmate. And see, this is how a lot of female officers get infiltrated. Conversation is everything. Conversation makes the world go round. Most female officers get pimped from conversation. That's how it starts. Now, don't get me wrong. I joke with the inmates a lot because I'm a joker. I like to have a good time. I'll crack a joke or two with them, but I know how far to take it. But I'm not about to be to your door for 10, 15 minutes holding a conversation with you and you distracting me. So other inmates seeing I'm posted up to your door so long, that gives them an advantage to do things that they shouldn't be doing. Exactly, Jatorion. I have to keep that barrier always. I always have to draw a line. And as a woman, that's where you have to have strong intuition skills. Every time you do a security check, this dude always wants to hold a conversation with you. He's trying to plant a seed. Every day he got to compliment you and let you know how good your hair looks. Now, compliments is one thing because I get it. Men are still men at the end of the day. I've had inmates tell me, your hair looks nice. Okay, I can deal with that. Your nails look nice. All right, whatever. But you compliment me 3, 4, 5 times a day. Now you doing too much. And that's why I'm gonna have to get you right together. All right. That's enough compliments for the day, Mr. Jordan. Keep your compliments to a minimum, sir. Not only that, when they start saying things that's really out of line. Now, if they sitting up there telling you how good your jeans look on you, that's a problem. Your uniform pants, that's a problem. Oh, I sure like the way them pants is gripping them hips. Now you got a problem. You don't check that, he gonna think you like it. And next he's gonna escalate it. Next it'll go from, oh, I like how those pants is hugging your hips to, oh man, I sure wouldn't mind hitting that. It's going to escalate. It's going to keep worse if you don't check it. If you want them females, like I said, you love attention. This is one of those type of professions. You definitely gonna get caught up if you love attention. And like I said, the worst type of women to come in this type of profession is one, like I mentioned before, young females under the age of 30. These young females, because they can hire you, they hire females as young as 21 years old. These young females who are young and dumb and love attention, though these are the ones that are the first prime candidates that the inmates pursue is the young ones because they know they're young and dumb, especially the older cats, the experienced thug dudes. They are easy to they know they can easily infiltrate them young bras, these young female officers. And those are always the ones who end up on the news. It's been three or four of them that has ended up on the news in my facility because they was kicking and loving the attention that they was getting. Some of these females, they're not used to attention. So you have to realize as a female, you have a lot of power when you go into this wing. You are over 65 to 70 grown men. You are over those men. That's a lot of power to give a 21-year-old, 23-year-old young female. You get what I'm saying? Of course, I'm gonna catch everything. So they'll sit up there, like I said, they love to go after the young females. That's one. Number two, they love to go after the females they feel like got low self-esteem. They're going to try you regardless. It don't matter if you light skin, dark skin, you heavy set, you slim. It don't matter. And the sad part is you have so many female officers who really think these men desire them. And the truth is, it doesn't matter if you like a 300-pound whale. If he got to tell you you look beautiful, if he got to lie to you and tell you, you the sexiest thing he's seen. He love how you keep your hair. He love how. Let me tell you. Let me just fool y'all how they be talking. Let me tell you some of the stuff they be saying. Yo, what's up? What's up, Officer So and So? You looking real nice today. I really like what you did with your hair, man. That looks good on you. I like that red and black. That looks real nice on you. See, what I noticed, man. See, when you come in here, you different from the other female officers, man. You be having your shit together, like for real. Your hair be together. You have nice jewelry. Your boots be shine. Your pants be creased. I could tell you the kind of woman you about business. I could tell you got a lot of class and style. See, these other females, they be coming up in here, they pants wrinkled, they lace wig be too far back. See, I can look at you and tell you one of them type of females, you very, very particular about how you carry yourself. But check this out, you know what I'm saying? You know, I got like two bags of chips, you know what I mean, that I want to get to my cellmate over there. You know what I'm saying now? I know, it's not that I'm trying to fraternize with you or nothing like that, but you know what I'm saying? I'm really in a struggle right now. And if you could kind of do this one solid, you know what I'm saying, Ma, I really would appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Because see, you different from these other females. These other females come up in here with nasty attitudes. You know what I mean? You don't come up in here with no nasty attitude. That's why I like about you. You different. You laid back. You know what I'm saying? You say what you mean. You mean what you say. And I respect as an officer, you got to do your job. You feel me? But I'm saying, can you look out for me this one solid? You know what I mean? Whatever we do is between me and you. You know what I mean? I ain't about to go back. I ain't no rat. I don't believe in ratting on nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna make sure, you know what I'm saying, if you do me this one solid, you know what I mean? That ain't nobody else, you know what I mean, gonna do what me you do, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm just asking you, if you don't mind looking out for a brother doing this one solid. Oh my gosh, bruh. I don't I don't heard they got more lines than Walmart in jail. These dudes got more lines than Walmart. I done heard it all. I have heard it all. These dudes will sit up there and will try to finesse you. And if you are one of those females, you love attention. You easy to get giddy. You easy to get giddy because what you have to realize is, for one, you know, the outside world is different. Like I said, from the world of corrections, because outside the jail you have a lot of competition. When you as a single female, when you're going to the club, you going to the clubs and stuff like that, you got a lot of competition. You got other females that you got to compete against. You know what I mean? No matter, you're not the only female who got your nails done. You're not the only female that got a big ass. You're not the only female that got big titties. You don't really stand out in the real world as much as you stand out in the prison world, in the jail world. So when you have all of these dudes that are finessing, and you're not used to getting that on the outside, it's easy to overdose off of compliments. And what a lot of female officers are not understanding is that the more majority of these guys out of finessing you, they're not even really attracted to you like that. If they saw you in the street, they wouldn't even look your direction. They wouldn't even be asking for your phone number. They would not even be giving you the time of day if you was to run into these dudes in the outside world. Right now, what they're doing is stroking your ego. They want you to get comfortable with them. That way, slowly but surely, they can start breaking you in and doing things for them. So it is just bananas to me how so many female officers fall prey to these dudes because of compliments. Because most of these dudes, they're not feeling you like that. They're not attracted to you like that. I already know when these inmates start. When I have an inmate that's trying to finesse me, he's trying to butter me up like a biscuit. He's telling me how good I look today, telling me how pretty my nails is. I already know he don't give a damn about how pretty my nails is. He don't care about how pretty my hair is. He don't even care. He's not even interested in me. He's interested in seeing what he can get me to do for him. Exactly. More game than the NBA season. Queen is only because I hear it so much. Straight finessing. But you brown skin and sexy when you was in school, you stayed in timeout because you bad. These guys are straight con artists. They got all day to sit up there and lie to you. And like I said, it's because for one, these guys are limited. The inmates are all about connections. It's all about trying to get somebody to do favors for them because a lot of these guys really don't have a strong support system on the outside. So if they could find a female correctional officer that's weak and gullible enough where they can have her smuggling in things and sneaking in things for them, that's an advantage for them. So, like I said, you have these guys that they're going to work on you by basically trying to finesse you. About his name, put something on his mind about his name. So, and you know, and like I say, these guys they got all day to finesse you. You one of them females, you laugh at everything they say. You think everything they say is funny. That's how he got you. You holding conversations with him way too long. Why is it he's the only inmate you constantly talking to him? You have to, as a woman, you have to have strong enough intuition skills to know when you're doing too much. You have to know, okay, I've been talking to this guy too long. I've been at his cell for about 10 minutes. He's getting way too much of my time. It's time for me to keep it moving. You have to have that third sensor. You have to have it. If not, you're going to get caught up. You have to pay attention to stuff. He's always hanging at your desk. He's always coming to your desk every day. He's trying to plant a seed. He's working on something. Now, as I was stating with these female correctional officers, how they get mentally infiltrated by inmates is that the favors, they start off small. Now, like I said, we had one particular female officer who came in there, real pretty, petite, brown skinned girl. I knew from the moment she came in, she just looked gullible. She looked easy. She looked it. You got to realize these inmates, they are professional snakes, professional crooks, professional manipulators. As a woman, I picked up on how simple she looked. And sure enough, evidently, the inmates, they picked up on the same, they got the same vibe from her. And that's another thing. As a woman, you have to be careful with the type of vibe, the type of energy you keep around you. Energy speaks volumes. How many of y'all believe that? Appreciate it, Queen. Thank you so much, love. I'll be leaving it up. So, whatever parts you missed, you can always check it out later. I understand. I know it's late. Your energy sends off signals. Even if you're not saying anything, it's the energy and the spirit you carry. When I first saw this young lady, she just looked simple. So, and when she came into my door, and when she came into my wing, I told her, I said, look here. I said, you're a very pretty young woman. Be careful. Something just told me I needed to tell her that. And I would notice a couple of times when I went into her wing to relieve her for lunch on her for her 1 hour break, how things was out of order in her wing. Things that we're not supposed to allow inmates to do, they was doing it. Thank you, Counselor Murray, for the $5 donation. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Thank you everybody who's been super chatting. Appreciate it. For those who haven't been able to super chat, appreciate y'all for just hanging out and showing your support. Yes, and body language. I just knew she was simple. So what ended up happening was the particular wing we was in, the wing got shut down because of the COVID. And they split all the officers up. They put us in different wings. So we all was in like unit 8. So they closed unit 8 down and they put me in 4. They put other officers in unit 3. They put her in the inmate workers unit. And I just, I hadn't seen her, when I did run into her, it was like we was passing each other by or whatever. But that was pretty much just that. And next thing I remember was because we when we get emails, all the officers at my facility, we get emails. They'll let us know when he terminated somebody. They'll send a memo saying Officer so and so no longer works here. Please be advised that they're not allowed, no longer have access. I go check my email and I see her face pop up that she has been terminated. Not only that, not only did she get terminated, she ended up literally on our local news. Not only did she let one inmate manipulate her, she let 2, she let 3, she let 4. She had 4 inmates manipulate her. Come to find out, she was under investigation. She had been putting money on their books. 4 different inmates. She was putting money on their books. Azaki Burgundy Butterfly, welcome to the chat also. She left 4 inmates. And I had already put the pieces together. All that happened was she did for one inmate. He probably got in her head, telling her how pretty she was. Probably just asked her, hey, if you could do this just one time, just one time, look out for me this one time. Probably that's probably what she did. She let one get in her head. And you know what that one did? 9 times out of 10, he went back and he told the other ones. And they started coming at her too. Now that's the thing. As a correctional officer, once you open Pandora's box, you can't close it. That's the thing about these inmates. You cannot start these jokers. You cannot start them. You can't even give them a pack of gum. You can't even give them one gum out the pack of gum. They make this very clear to you from the moment they hire you. They tell you do not give these inmates anything. Don't sneak them in a stick of gum. Don't sneak them in a Snickers bar. Don't sneak them in a Laffy Taffy or a Now and Later. Nothing. 9 times out of 10, that's what she did. She started off. She looked out for one, and let me tell you how corrupt these dudes are. They're corrupt and dumb at the same time. Now, how you gonna snitch? You snitch on the female officer who was hooking you up, putting money on your books. Because these dudes they want to score brownie points for the other inmates. He ran his mouth to the rest of them and told them, "Yeah, I got Officer so and so. I got her in the palm of my hand. I got her looking out for me. I got her doing this. I got her putting money on the books. I got her doing that." Instead of him keeping his mouth closed, if you got a female officer who was dumb enough to look out for you and put money on your books, that's your personal hookup. Why you gonna run your mouth to the other male inmates, knowing they're gonna be jealous, knowing they're gonna be hating? Guess what? They're gonna infiltrate and say and come to her and say, okay, you know what? I found out you're looking out for so and so and so. You've been putting money on the books for so and so. So now that I know this, if you want to keep your job here, look here, I'm gonna need you to look out for me too. You don't want me telling on you that you've been putting money on my homeboy books. I'm gonna need you to look out for me. Am I crashing, y'all? Let me know if my mic is acting crazy. So of course, now you got two of them who you got to take care of. Guess what's gonna happen? Those two are going to go back and tell other inmates, and that's what happened. Now she got herself in a bind with two inmates. Now the two inmates, they still running their mouth and telling other inmates, "Hey man, you want extra money on the books? I got a way where you can get it. I already got old girl looking out for me." Now here comes inmate number three. Now he pulling your chain. Inmate number three, now he wants you to look out for him. Okay, I know you're looking out for inmate number one, and I know you're looking out for inmate number two. I know you need your job here. I know you got bills to pay. So if you don't want to lose your job, you don't want me snitching on you or throwing you up under the bus, okay, you're going to have to look out for me. I'm going to need you to put money on my books too. Exactly, Cartier. What's up, Bud Gang, by the way? Exactly. That mouth, Cartier. The word got around that she was looking out for one or two inmates and it spread like COVID. And what ended up happening was she became way in over her head. That's what happened. And she got caught in a jam. And by then she was way in over her head. It was too late for her to she couldn't reverse it. That's the thing about it. As a correctional officer, once you open the door, it just goes down here from there. Now, had it been me, let's say, had I been that dumb and decided to go there, once a second inmate approached me, I would have went ahead and quit. I would have put in my 2 weeks and quit. Because if that one ran his mouth and he told that second one, you know a third coming, you know a fourth coming, you know a fifth coming, you know a sixth inmate coming. When the second inmate came to her, she should have already knew right then. Game is over. I would rather quit and turn in my stuff than to get exposed and get fired and end up on the news because that's what ended up happening. She ended up on the 6 o'clock local news. They charged her with um um fraternizing with the inmates. Um she got charged like with a couple of things. Okay, let me see if I'm going in and out. Okay, let me see. Can y'all hear me clearly now? Because I'm gonna have to replace that mic because I think I've been having some issues with that lately. Let me know if y'all can hear me now. But what ended up happening was when she saw that second inmate approach her, she should have just went ahead and turned herself. I would have quit. I would have turned in my badge. I would have turned in my uniform. I would have quit because you already know what's coming now. What's up, Sinister Minister? I kind of have firsthand experience with this, not as a correctional officer, but as someone who worked at a company that employs work release people. I've seen guys fleece even married women. Oh yeah, I can believe that, Sinister. I'm telling you, the female officers get finessed all the time. You cannot come into this profession thirsty, lonely, attention starved. Another thing is you can't be one of those women who got problems at home. You cannot be in a troubled relationship. You cannot be. Your man ain't treating you right at home. You going through a very rocky period in your marriage, and you going to work around all these men who sweet talking you day in and day out, telling you how fine you are, telling you how good you look, telling you everything. They noticing everything about you that your own man ain't noticing. These dudes notice what kind of perfume you wear. They notice how good your hair looks. They complimenting you about things your own husband ain't even complimenting you about. Your own boyfriend ain't even complimenting you about. These dudes have all day to finesse you because they have nothing but time on their hands. And it's definitely not worth their job because the thing about it is the female who got terminated. Let me see if I'm gonna find what they charged her with. Let's see, because I know she got charged with 3 different things, and this just happened this year here, 2020. She ended up on the news. All her co-workers found out about it, and then on top of that, she was engaged. She had a fiance. And then she only been there for 6 months. Yeah, I pulled up the story here. She was charged with violation of oath by a public officer and giving false statements in writing. Now that was another thing. 9 times out of 10, I would tell people if you work in law enforcement and you got IA that comes to investigate you, internal affairs, anytime they approach you, they already got the evidence. They just want to see if you're gonna lie. If internal affairs ever have to investigate you, they already know the truth. As an officer, they already know. They just asking you to see if you're gonna lie. So you can help them to terminate you. Because once you lie, you can forget it. Anytime the correctional officer is caught in a lie, they have to terminate you because now they really can't use you as an officer because as an officer they have to take our word on a lot of things. Every time you write somebody up, they got to take your word. Or anytime you got to go to court and testify, your word counts. Your word is everything. So the moment you get caught in any type of lie, they're going to automatically terminate you. They can't put you on a stand. They can't trust you to submit any writing statements or anything because you done already proven that your word is not solid. Uh, exactly, Cartier. They had charged her, yeah. So they charged her with violation of oath by public officer and giving false statements. Um, she was corresponding with 4 inmates over email and telephone. So not only was she talking to them over the phone, but she was also emailing them. Not smart, because whenever you email somebody, your email link is going to always be in the message. And then she deposited funds into the inmates' jail accounts. Now I heard she was using her personal debit card, putting money in inmates' books, as if the jail don't have a way of retrieving that. The jail is the one that the jail they get all the receipts. They keep up with all the information with the people that with the inmates. They keep up with who's sending them money. They keep it all that is on file. So whenever any jail you go to, anytime you use your debit card, anytime you come in there paying cash, they already know who's putting money on these inmate books. As an officer, I don't understand how she didn't think about that. Yeah, but this happened. She only had been there for 6 months. She only had been there for 6 months when they caught her. Yeah, but they got your account number, your track record. That's what I'm saying. Exactly, Cartier. They have everything. So I don't know what the hell she was thinking. If you was gonna do something like that, you should have been smart and let somebody else use it in their name, and then you pay that person. I mean, if you gonna go that far, I mean, you might as well do it correctly. My thing is, if she was going to do that, she would have been better off just quitting and finding her another job and then put money on these books. Because my thing is, once you get caught as an officer, it's like a dishonorable discharge. It's going to that stain is going to go with you everywhere you go. It's not like getting terminated from IHOP or Waffle House. Being terminated from law enforcement is very detrimental because now she's barred from being able to pursue any type of law enforcement in the state of Georgia. Now, another state, if they want to, they may could waive it or overlook it. If she decide to become a police officer in Chicago, Illinois, they may spare her a chance. But 9 times out of 10, they're not, because she's going to be considered a liability. So this is the thing. This is how female correctional officers get mentally infiltrated by inmates. You started off doing something small. You started off by having too many conversations with these dudes. There's no way you should be holding no conversation with the same inmates every day. He shouldn't be at your desk every day. You shouldn't be to his cell every day when you come in there. You holding conversations with this inmate for 20, 30 minutes. This inmate should not be knowing nothing personal about you. For her to get that comfortable where she's giving them money and she's doing all of this stuff outside of policy and procedure, it already lets you know she had already been putting herself out there. She put a personal business out there. That's how these inmates knew how to mentally infiltrate her. Nobody cannot use anything against you unless they know what weapon to use. She made herself she put herself in a very vulnerable position. She got way too comfortable with these guys. You can't be kikiing with these guys too much. It's okay to hold a conversation, like I say, you joke here and there, but you got to know when to cut it off. So, um, another issue is that you letting your personal stuff that you go through personally outside of your job, you allowing it to affect you, because you and your man, y'all not on good terms. Y'all having problems in y'all relationship or y'all marriage right now. It seemed like every female that's been caught has been females that's already in a relationship. Another female, she right before this one, she got caught 2, 3 months ago having sexual relations with one of the inmates. And guess who turned her in? Her husband. Her husband found out she was fraternizing and sexually involved with an inmate, so he turned her in. So I could only imagine the embarrassment she had to face. Your own husband threw you under the bus, so you know your in-laws know. 9 out of 10, he done told his people. Then on top of that, your family know. That's an embarrassment. As somebody in here mentioned earlier, it's definitely not worth your career, because the bad part about it is once you get caught up with these dudes, they they can't help you. That is the main reason why I don't understand how come female correctional officers get caught up, because if you get caught, these inmates, they cannot help you. You act like if you get caught, you doing all these favors for an inmate, like he could put you in a house, like he gonna pay your rent, he gonna pay your mortgage. After you done set up here, you took a chance sneaking shit in for him, doing all kind of favors for him. Once you get caught, what is he gonna do to help look out for you? What can he do to look out for you in return on the strength of you getting caught trying to help him? That's the bad part. That's what a lot of these females are not phantoming. Okay, cool. You sneaking in items, you doing stuff for him, but once you get caught, how's this dude going to help? Is he going? Is he planning on returning the favor by looking out for you? He can't, because he locked up. That's the bad part about it. Exactly. You have to keep work and home separated, and that's the thing. You can't tell them no. Once you don't open that door, you can't tell them no. Once you done started sneaking in cigarettes for them and sneaking in cell phones and stuff for them, now you realize they are wearing you out. Because every time you turn around, now they need something. You just stuck in the cell phone. You just snuck in some cigarettes. Now he wants you to sneak in some weed. And guess what? You can't tell that inmate no, because he already got you. You've been sneaking in other stuff for him. So you know what he's going to do? He's going to threaten you. Well, if you don't do it, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna report you, because me and you have a deal. You've been sneaking in stuff for me. All of a sudden, now you want to deny me. Let me tell you something. You want to see an inmate get ruthless? Stop looking out for him when he done got used to you looking out for him. Start telling the inmate no when he's used to you telling him yeah. They will turn up all the way on you. These inmates are not to be trusted. These inmates are not your friend. Now, let me tell you something. These female inmates, they are no better. Because I also work with female inmates. They are worse. A lot of these female inmates, they are very messy. Female inmates are more messier than men. Exactly. There's no honor among thieves. That's the God's honest truth. You can never win an inmate over. It'll never happen. If you're trying to earn the likes of inmates, please do not join this profession. If you are a people pleaser, you like to please people, you don't like telling people no, you don't want to be the mean person. And at first, when I got there, when I first started working there, I couldn't understand how come some of the correctional officers were so mean. I'm like, oh my gosh, she just nasty, or he just nasty. Until I started working there, now I see why they are the way they are. Only difference is I don't feel comfortable using that approach. I personally don't think being a mean and nasty officer is going to get you anywhere. If anything, you make yourself a target. I don't have to get mean and nasty with inmates. Once I say what I had to say, I say what I mean what I say. That's it. I'm not going to argue back and forth with you. I'm not going to go toe to toe. I'm not going to try to retaliate or none of that. I'm going to let you hang yourself. These female inmates, they are more conniving than the male inmates. As I mentioned before earlier in when I started my live stream, I would rather work with 500 male inmates than 5 female inmates. And the reason for that is because female inmates are way too emotional. When you write them up for something, you could have wrote them up for something like a month ago and they still mad about it. Like for instance, I had this one female inmate. She's basically she's basically she's like the wing bully. A lot of the females in our particular wing are fretful of her. Oh, Samuel wanted to know the female officer I was talking about. How did she get caught? One of them snitched on her. Um, Basically, what happened was, um, as Cartier mentioned earlier, there's no honor among thieves. What happened was one of the other inmates that wasn't getting the hookup, they snitched on the strength of being jealous of the other inmates that was getting the hookup from her. That's basically what happened. The inmates that she was looking out for, other inmates started hating on that. They got jealous of that. They got jealous that this pretty petite brown skinned female officer was looking out, putting money on their books, looking out for some of the inmates. So, you know, the haters that was not getting it, they the one who blew the whistle. So that's basically what happened. That's it. That's another reason why you cannot look out for these inmates, because let's say even if you did find a loyal inmate, which that's like hitting a damn you know the jackpot, because loyal and inmates don't even, the word loyal and inmate don't even belong in the same sentence. But let's say if you did find one that knew how to keep his mouth closed. Like I said, these inmates, they not dumb. They got all day to know when an officer is doing for that inmate. They could pick up on it. They could pick up on it. I don't care how slick and how smooth you try to be. These guys are going to pick up on it. So it's not even so much the inmates that you looking out for. It's the inmates that you ain't looking out for that's gonna be jealous of the ones that you are looking out for. Them the ones that's gonna rat. Yeah, Powerball. I couldn't get it out, Cartier. I'm glad you read my mind. I couldn't get it out. Yeah, that's the other part. That's what it was. Haters mad because other inmates getting something they ain't getting. And let me tell you something. A lot of these male inmates, they just as petty as females. These male inmates are petty like women. They get mad when they see other inmates getting stuff that they can't get. And this is another thing. Think about it. If you are up here sneaking and doing stuff for inmates, right, as a correctional officer, you cannot enforce you cannot enforce policy and procedures. What it look like if you sneaking in cigarettes, and you sneaking in, and you put money on their books. Now they doing stuff that they don't need to be doing. You finding stuff in they cell. Guess what? You don't put yourself on bondage. You cannot penalize these inmates. You cannot write them up. You cannot discipline them because you already violated the oath by doing things for them outside of the policy. Do you realize how chaotic it could become any female officer who puts herself in this type of positions? Because now you up here, you doing for these dudes. You done snuck in contraband. You done snuck in cigarettes, snuck in cell phone. You done did all of this stuff. Now, how you gonna have the room to enforce anything? Eventually, your co-workers are going to pick up on it. your colleagues, your lieutenant, your sergeant, they're gonna pick up on the fact, okay, these inmates are doing what they want to do. Why are you letting these inmates do what they want to do? Why? Why are you not enforcing policy and procedure? Why are you not writing them up? Why are you letting them get away with all these violations and you're not doing anything about it? Now the spotlight is on you because now your superiors are going to start investigating. Like there's got to be a reason you're not enforcing these policies and procedures. Yep, when you do for one, you got to do for all. You cannot sit up here and look out for one or two inmates. You got, like I said, the average wing has like 50 to 60 inmates. You think if I do for two or three of them in there, they're not going to go and run their mouth and the other one's not going to want something? That's how it starts. And a lot of these female officers, they don't think about that. I, I don't know why their psyche is making them think, well, all I got to do is put money on his books. You think he not gonna go back and run his mouth to his homeboys because he want to earn brownie points. He want to earn stripes. Anytime they can get a female officer to smuggle in items and put money on their books, that's brownie points. They're gonna go and run their mouth and tell the other inmates, "Oh, look what I got! Look what I got her doing for me." And you know what? Them same guys will sit up there and listen to the inmate talk about what he got this female officer doing. He'll sit up there and act like he just listening. Then he'll turn around behind the inmate back who just told him, and now he gonna approach the female officer. Hey, I already know you looking out for my boy. He already told me you looking out for him. So I tell you what, he don't know that I know you looking out for him. He don't know that I know. He don't know that that I'm approaching you about this, but I'm going to let you know right now. If you're going to look out for so and so, I'm going to need you to look out for me. Because if you don't look out for me, I'm going to report you. If you don't want me saying nothing, you want me to keep it on the down low. I know you can't afford to lose your job. So I tell you what, I'm going to need you to do this. I'm going to need you to put some money on my books. What you going to do? You already put money on the books for one. You're not gonna be able to tell him no, because all he got to do is get on the kiosk and report officer so and so that's been brought to my attention. Officer so and so has been looking out for inmate blah blah blah, especially an inmate that's down and out, an inmate who don't have no support. They ain't got no problem with throwing an officer under the bus who's supporting another inmate because that what they got to lose. What a lot of officers got to realize is that the no snitching doesn't apply to other officers. The no snitching only applies to other inmates. Inmates only respect no snitching when it comes to each other. That officers, we are not a part of the no snitching street code. Inmates snitch on officers. They will throw your ass under the bus. You're not a part of the no snitching code. They will rattle you in a heartbeat, especially when you don't give them what they want. Especially when they know they got evidence that you've been looking out and giving somebody else something. Your job is done. The moment she started getting out of control, she should have put in her 2 weeks in there. So let me tell you what she did. When she realized she was way in over her head, she went to look for another job. So she called herself quitting the jail. But this is what a lot of officers have to realize. Just because you quit a job, you quit law enforcement because you feel like your dirty deeds are going to get exposed, That don't mean they not gonna file charges on you. Cause you know what they did? They went and arrested her off of her new job. She thought she dodged a bullet because she left and got her another job someplace else. Nope, they just went to the other job because guess what? You committed that offense as an officer prior before getting that job. And the problem was they found out about it before you left and got that job. No, what she should have did when she saw they already approached her about one. I mean, she saw when she did for one, another dude came out. It was time to go. So, like I said, you got to deal with this guy officer. You got to deal with these female officers. I mean, female inmates. They're no better. Female inmates, they are they are very conniving as well. You definitely cannot be friends with them. Like I said, there was this one particular female at my facility. She's like a wing bully. She pretty much runs that particular wing. All of the female inmates are fretful of her. She has them doing all type of stuff that they know they shouldn't be doing. She got them passing and sneaking commissary. She's just using them as puppets. And a lot of the female officers, um, they know she's very confrontational. Whenever they discipline her or write up for something, you have some female officers, some officers, period, where they only allow female officers to work with female inmates. And you have a lot of female officers, they don't like confrontation. They don't feel like arguing with certain inmates, so they let them do whatever they want to do just to avoid confrontation because they don't feel like getting cussed out. Me, on the other hand, I don't care about getting cussed out. I see you doing something you don't need to be doing. I'm going to write you up for it. I can't sit up here and let you run all over me and I don't discipline you because if I let you get away with it, then I'm going to have to let everybody get away with it. I can't show favoritism, let you get away with murder, but then another inmate turns around and does the same thing. I'm writing them up. That's discrimination. I used to work at Rikers Island and work with certain female officers that got caught up the game. It it just yeah, good to go solo. What's up, good to go solo? That's true. Females are always getting caught up. It never fails. They're letting these guys get in their ear. Like the what in Baltimore, I can think it was what 4 or 6 female officers. They all got impregnated by the gang leader of the gang called Black Gorilla or Gorilla something. I don't know. Forgot the name of that gang, Gorilla something. But it was 6 female officers that got pregnant by one inmate. This just goes to show how much power a lot of these inmates got over these female officers. My thing is, if you're not mentally qualified for the job, you don't need to apply. Save yourself the embarrassment and the humiliation later because it is very embarrassing when you end up in the same position as the dudes you were in authority over. It's very embarrassing. And then the thing about it, when she got caught, all the inmates was marking her and telling her how stupid she was. Now, 9 times out of 10, the inmates that was telling her how stupid she was, they were probably the main ones who was sitting up there smiling and grinning with this girl all alone, knowing that she was headed for a recipe and disaster. These guys will play you. That's why I don't play with them. I don't play with these dudes. All of those compliments that they be giving me, these compliments, all of this trying to, finesse me and get me to do little stuff. I refuse to even fall for the bait because I know at the end of the day, when it boiled down to it, I get caught up. None of them guys don't mean you no good, and the females don't either. The female inmates ain't no better. Now, with the female inmates, it's more complicated with them because the problem with a lot of these female inmates, they be going with each other. A lot of these female inmates got lesbian relationships. Not that I'm knocking that at all, but that's what make things more complicated because these females be in relationships with other female inmates, which is very messy. I cannot even begin to imagine, tell you how many separations we have in the female dorms. You may have one female inmate who has 6 other female inmates that cannot stand her, who that are a threat, that we have to keep them separated from her. It's very sickening because a lot of the females we deal with, they have separations. They have separations because either they used to go with each other and they broke up. And a lot of that happens with female inmates. You have a lot of these female inmates, they will start off in a relationship together. Then they break up. Then they get with other female inmates. Now the old female inmate is mad with the new female inmate that's going out with the inmates used to go out with. We have to deal with a lot of that. The female inmates are very drama filled. They're full of drama. Because for one, they got too many relationships going on. They going together. They're supposed to be dating, which I don't understand the fascination in that because y'all really don't have the freedom to be able to get up with each other in the jail like that. Let's see. No more than a woman, yes, when he was. Women can be extremely messy and trifling. Yeah, and we deal with a lot of that. We deal with a lot of that in the jail. A lot of these females are very territorial. Like I said, and then the thing about it is we have a lot of female murderers. A lot of females are in there for murder. A lot of them. You got a lot of these females that want to be gangsters. They want to be like men, so they join in gangs like men. They shooting and killing like men, trying to prove they have some type of masculinity. So we have a lot of that going on. We have a lot of young women in there for murder. And a lot of them are first timers. Some of them, they never been locked up a day in their life. And their first crime ever was murder. A lot of these females, they get ready to go up the road. They get ready to get shipped off to prison. Because a lot of them are in there for some heavy, heinous crimes. And most of it is murder. I know I got one in there now. She murdered the father of her child, and she ended up giving birth to the child in the jail. And now her mother has full custody of the child, and she's going to be serving like practically like life in there. You have these females coming up in there pregnant, becoming mothers, and I'm like, wow, you decided to make this decision while you was pregnant so you could spend your pregnancy in prison, in jail. I'm like, wow. You definitely have to have a damaged mental psyche, to want to be in prison while you're pregnant. We have a lot of pregnant females in there. Exactly. Deadbeat moms. We have a lot of them. They family got to raise their kids from them. It's a lot of single mothers that are incarcerated, and it's other people who got to raise and take care of their children for them. And these are women who don't have no 1 or 2 kids. These are women who got 5 or 6 kids. Somebody got to raise their 5, 6 kids while they're incarcerated. That's how bad it done got. It's terrible. But nevertheless, as I was stating, these female correctional officers, a lot of them are not cut out for this type of work. They're not cut out for this type of work. They got too much personal shit going on in their lives. They not getting along with their old man, having problems in their marriage. not getting along with their fiancés. You're not in a good place with your man, and you go work in a prison facility with these other men that are spitting poison in your ear, telling you how beautiful, how attractive you look, when your own man out home, he don't even acknowledge it. He don't even tell you how good you look, or you having problems with him cheating on you. You going through personal stuff, so you coming to work feeling vulnerable. Um, Not only that, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of these females, they're too young. They coming into prison, coming into the jail system. They don't have enough experience dealing with these older men. These older men are professional gamers. They know what to say and they know what to do to manipulate younger females. And a lot of these young females, they're the main ones who filling out applications. These females that are 21, 22, 23, them the ones who they targeting. They're also targeting unattractive female officers. Females that aren't attractive, oh, they getting them too, because they lying to them and telling them they look good. Lying to these, less fortunate females in the look department, and they're lying to them and telling them how good they look. And they're falling for it. Now, let's not just say, I'm not just going to say it's the female officers. You got female nurses. We don't have nurses that got terminated. You're supposed to be in there nursing the inmates, giving them their medicine. No, you up here fraternizing with them. We don't have nurses fired. We don't have counselors fired. A lot of females in different positions in the jail have gotten terminated over fraternizing and getting too deeply involved with these inmates. You can't be exchanging phone numbers, having you connecting with their family on the outside for them. You sneaking and bringing them in stuff. You, like I said, it's all type of. It's not just female officers. Nurses done got fired. Um, Other female employees, the civilians, secretaries, they done got fired messing with fraternizing with male inmates. Good to go. Says at Rikers, there's a lot of overtime, and you will be working at least 3 double shifts per week. Some officers get lonely because of OT and rotating shifts and end up texting other officers and inmates. And I'm glad you actually brought that up. That's another thing about being a correctional officer. Um, you spend a lot of hours in the jail. Jail is one of those places you ain't never gonna have to worry about not having enough hours. If you want a job where you don't have to worry about getting cheated out of hours, where you can get as much overtime as possible, if you are a workaholic, jail, being a correctional officer is definitely a way to go, because it takes a lot of tenacity to be a correctional officer, because you do work a lot of hours. Most of the time you're pulling 12s. You're pulling 12s from 7:30 to 8:30. You may come in 7:30 that evening and you don't get off to 8:30 that night. Now, depending on how many how short you are with the next shift, you may not get off till 12 o'clock, because the most amount of time they can have you work for overtime, they can't make you do no more than 12, 16 hours. In other words, after those 4 hours, they have to relieve you. By 12 o'clock, if you came in at 7:30 that evening and 8:30 that morning, you wasn't able to get off because it's supposed to be 7 people on the watch, but 3 of them didn't show up. Guess what? They're gonna need at least 2 of y'all to stay over. Because if it's supposed to be 7 officers there to work that whole shift and 3 of them don't show, Three of y'all gonna have to stay. So this is another thing that a lot of people don't consider when they're going into law enforcement. You will not always get off your regular time. Now I've been really lucky. I would say the last 4 or 5 months, I haven't had to do a whole lot of overtime. Only because of the COVID, we don't have a lot of wings open. But even then, it's gonna always be some overtime. Always. My 1 or 2 days I have off, you have to do what's called mandated overtime. To where one of your days you're supposed to have off because another wing is short of officers. They're going to need you to come in. Like the way my shift is, I do 12s. So for instance, um, one week I may have off Monday, Tuesday. Then I go to work Wednesday, Thursday. Then I'm off that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, guess what? That Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's supposed to be my 3 day weekend. They may decide to tell me, well, we're gonna need you to come in that Saturday because Unit 3 is short of officers. So while I'm thinking I'm gonna have that 3 day weekend, nope, I'm not gonna have that 3 day weekend because they want me to come in that Saturday. Or I may have those weeks when I don't have off that weekend, like I'll be off that Monday, Tuesday, and then got to come in Wednesday, Thursday, and then I have to work that Friday, Saturday. Hell, that Wednesday and Thursday I was supposed to have off. They may tell me, no, we need you to come in Tuesday. So guess what? I'm only getting my 1 day off compared to get my 2 days off. So that is another thing. You will have to work abundantly sometimes. You do work overtime, um, which is good. You know, your checks look nice, but the only bad part is you're deprived of sleep, until you really get used to your schedule, until your body gets into routine of being able to do those spontaneous overtime shifts like that. But me, at the end of the day, I listen to my body. I don't, even though I may be mandated to come in doing overtime, if I know my body is just way overdue, I don't come in. I call it. If I just really feel like my body can't take it, because guess what? I'd rather call in if I know I'm tired than to come in knowing I'm tired and then I'll fall asleep behind a desk, then y'all firing me. I'll call in first before I take a chance and go in on my overtime knowing I'm tired, knowing I'm gonna fall asleep, because guess what? I'm 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 a liability to my department. If I'm tired and I'm exhausted because y'all making me work all this overtime, tired people don't give a damn. When you are that tired and you are that exhausted, you let anything happen because you're tired. You'll let the inmates do what they want to do. You're not as alert. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what my body say. I know what the job say. My job may tell me, "Oh, we need you to come in that Wednesday." But guess what? If my body don't agree with that, I got to listen to my body. Because guess what? If I drop dead today, y'all gonna put my position right in the newspaper, right online, and you just gonna get somebody else to fulfill it anyway. It's as simple as that. Um, yes. Yeah, you definitely you have to listen to your body language, because let me tell you something. A lot of these jobs is just not corrections. A lot of these jobs don't give a damn about you. And I'm not just saying that personally about my job. I'm saying in general, a lot of these jobs do not care. Most of these jobs, all they want is a body. And they don't care who the hell they got to pimp. A lot of these bosses and employers, they will call you to come in first, so they don't have to stay and do it. A lot of supervisors and managers, they'll call somebody to come do, they'll call you in because they know if they don't get a body, then they're going to be stuck. The problem is you have a lot of people who want titles, but they don't want to do what the titles require. You got people who want to be a supervisor who really don't want to supervise. You got people who want to be managers who don't want to manage a damn thing. You got people who want to be executive directors and they don't direct the goddamn thing. You have all of these people with these big titles that they do not want to live up to. Period. Point blank. Yep, the turnover is very significant. And you're right about that. Good to go. Law enforcement always has been one of those professions that have the biggest turnover because 9 times out of 10, one, people become mentally and physically burnt out because it's more inmates and less staff, and they can't take dealing with the overtime. I could say with my jail, where I work, I've been pretty lucky. I've been pretty blessed to where I haven't been getting burnt out a lot lately. I don't know if it's luck or God just has mercy and grace, but that's one reason you have a lot of turnover rates. The biggest reason is people keep fraternizing with inmates. That's what's causing a lot of people to get fired. They doing extra favors for these inmates. They fraternizing with these inmates. They getting caught up. We had a lot of good officers who got caught up just dealing with inmates. Now, not only that, we got good officers who lost their job fraternizing with other officers. Somebody in here mentioned it earlier. I couldn't remember what it was, but we had a really good corporal, really professional, really good guy, got a good spirit, good heart, really nice guy. He ended up fraternizing with another female officer. Now, this not even an officer inmate situation. He was fraternizing with another female officer. I gave everybody, I told this story before. Most of y'all in here should be familiar with it, but we had a really good corporal who was already married, okay? And like one of y'all mentioned in here earlier, that's how a lot of officers get involved with other officers because y'all doing all these 12 hours. Y'all working all these big, long shifts together. So y'all are spending a lot of time, and for whatever reason, him and this particular female got involved. All right. Now, I don't know what possessed him to send her a personal video of himself, but for whatever reason, he felt comfortable doing that. And like I told one of the other officers, I said, for him to feel comfortable sending out female officer a picture of himself, showing his wood or whatever, he had to be banging her. I can't see a man being that comfortable sending a female a video of himself messing with himself, messing with his Johnson or whatever, if he ain't hitting it. So this female who he was fraternizing with, this other female officer, she decided to show the video to another female officer. Instead of her keeping it between them, she shows the video to another female officer. So now what him or her is doing, they little, cut friends or whatever little undercover fling they had going on, it's already been exposed because she shared it with another female. How about the female who she shared it with was the same female who reported it to another corporal who then reported it to the IA. He ended up getting fired. All because he was messing with a female who couldn't keep her mouth closed. She ran her mouth to another female who reported it. Now, this is the crazy part. The same female that I told y'all earlier who got caught fraternizing with the inmates that was putting money on the books. How about that was the female who threw her under the bus and then she got caught her own self putting money on inmate books. She got exposed and she got fired a month after them. Now, if I don't call that goddamn boomerang or karma, I don't know what the hell it is. Exactly. I don't date co-workers. I don't blame you, Chaos. It's too messy. It's I just don't think it's ever been wise to date co-workers, because when you and that person break up, you got to see that person on your job. That person gonna be dating other people in your face on your job. It just complicates things. You have to really be a mature, strong-minded person that handle dating somebody on your job without allowing it to affect your job. Good to go. Said, do you have steady housing area yet? If not, do you want one? Oh yeah, I'm definitely I know other people that do. So far, I don't really have that issue or whatever. But if you want to email me about it and let me know if you got some info you would like to submit to me, that'd be cool. Yeah, you got people who want to lead, but they don't know but they don't know how to lead anything. And unfortunately, that's on every damn job. Every job got that one person who want to be the leader but don't like to lead. Everybody got that one person who lazy, who want to point the fingers but don't want to work. Then every workplace got that one person who snitches, like to tell them what everybody else is doing and ain't doing, and they ain't doing their job. Just every job has drama. It's just no way around it at all. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, like I stated, he was a good corporal and he lost his job, because, she going around showing the video he sent to her. And not only that, she was blackmailing him for it. She was blackmailing him, and she ended up getting fired too. The same female who was going around showing the video, she ended up getting fired. So it just backfired on all of them. That's why, I mean, whatever you do, like they tell you, if you're going to rob a bank, go rob it by yourself. Don't start bringing people on board. That's when you get caught. That's when you get exposed. When you start trying to when you start dealing with other people, you start getting too many people involved in what you do. That's when you start setting yourself up basically to get railroaded. But yeah, I'm gonna get ready to wrap things up. But I just think it's really sad that a lot of these females come into this type of profession and not understand that you're not dealing with no rookies. These inmates, they're not rookies. They're not rookies. A lot of these inmates, they've been in and out the correctional system for so long. They done become professionals. They know what to say. They know what to do, and they just know how to manipulate you. If you're a female that wears your emotions on your sleeves, I don't recommend you get in this type of profession. Don't just get into it for the money. You have to have common sense. You have to have wisdom. You have to have knowledge, because these guys, they can smell a weak-minded woman. And same thing with some of these male officers. You also got to be careful, because you know what I'm noticing? I'm starting to notice a lot of male inmates are manipulating male officers. A lot of these young guys who's coming into law enforcement as correctional officers, these young guys that are under the age of 25, a lot of these young guys, they get manipulated by inmates too. So it's not just that. Women aren't the only ones that need to be careful. I'm noticing a lot of male officers, they get manipulated, because what's starting to happen is they having this homeboy, it's like this homeboy type of persona with the inmates. A couple of male officers was removed out of my unit to other units, because they was letting the male inmates pretty much do what they want to do. A lot of these guys are just way too laid back. Even as a man in law enforcement, you can't get comfortable with these male inmates and figure, because you're a man and they're a man, they're men. You know that you can kind of lax on them. You can't lax on them. Even as a male officer, you can't let these male inmates think y'all homeboys that you down, because they'll manipulate you. I've heard male inmates try to manipulate other male officers. Man, they'll tell them stuff like, man, you ain't no real brother. If you was a real brother, you would be looking out for your own. Or why you letting these people, why you letting these white folks, or why you letting these such and such people tell you how to have authority over us. You need to be your own man. These inmates come up with all kind of stuff. They don't just manipulate us female officers, they manipulate other male officers. And you have some male officers, females look for attention, but you got male officers who look for brownie points. They be trying to be buddies with some of these inmates, and that's not good either, because a lot of a lot of male inmates, they done got fired for fraternizing. You don't just have to have relations with inmate to get fired. When people hear the word fraternizing, they automatically thinking of a female officer and a male inmate. They always think it's a sexual type of thing, but that's not true. You can be a male officer and you can get terminated for fraternizing, not because you're having sexual relations with another male officer, which that's true too. But basically, you letting these inmates talk you into doing stuff you shouldn't be doing. We done had a couple of male officers, they got fired because they let these dudes talk them into smuggling in weed, smuggling in cigarettes. We lost one male officer who had snuck in contraband, snuck in tobacco, snuck in weed. He did all of that, and you a male officer. So it's not just the female officers that are falling weak to the prey. You got some of these young male officers, they falling weak to the prey too. They letting these male inmates get in their head and making them feel like, man, you a simp because you're not allowing them to do what they want to do. So you also got some better males. I don't advise better males to get into law enforcement either. You can't be a better male looking for approval, looking for acceptance, especially from an inmate. And that goes for men and women. If you are a people pleaser, you're trying to earn brownie points, you take it personal because they tell you, man, you ain't down, or man, you just like the man. You just like the rest of them. These inmates will come with all kinds of stuff. You just like the rest of them. You phony. You don't look out for your people. You're a traitor. You're Uncle Tom. They'll say all kind of stuff to you to make you feel bad enough to where you'll let them slide with stuff. And it's all game. So even the male officers, y'all got to be careful too. Where in my facility, the male officers, they don't deal with the females, so they ain't got to worry about being manipulated as far as the opposite sex. But that's another thing. Male officers, they get manipulated, especially these young bucks that's under the age of 30. Because the thing about it, being a young male officer, you're going to deal with inmates within your age range. It's male officers that are being hired at the age of 22, 23. So when they work in a jail, they're going to be dealing with inmates on the same age level, on the same mental level. So they're going to think, because age wise they got that in common, and because they may like a couple of same things, the male officer may look at the male inmate as a homeboy, as a friend. And it's very important that anytime these officers come in being trained and become officers for the first time, it's very important that they are being trained properly and being hip to the game. um I just got certified for being a jail training officer, so my job is going to be, anytime a new officer comes in, I have to train them, and I have to observe based on how they carry themselves, based on their mental abilities if they fit for the job or not. So that's a new role that I just decided to take on. Not only I'm going to be training with that, but hell, I'm also going to get paid extra for it. So why not? So that uh basically we train in officers for like maybe 3 4 weeks, and then after that, if we feel like they're capable, we can cut the umbilical cord, and let them work for themselves. They could work on their own without us having to stand there and supervise them and shadow them too much. So these male officers, they ain't no better. A lot of them done got fired. I know a male officer who got fired. Like I said, they was bringing in tobacco. He let them young guys get in his head. So it ain't just the women. Some of these guys are simple because they want to be down. They don't want to be looked at as a punk. Like, inmate, man, you just scared, man, you a punk or whatever they say to get in these guys' head. So the guys got to be careful as well. Y'all no exception to the rule. Let the go says you are correct. Rikers actually has Bloods and Crips who are officers. Wow, I can believe that. They had gang affiliations but were never arrested prior to employment. I can totally believe that. And see, that's in a big city. So imagine small little cities like where I'm from, Chatham County. I went to school with the majority of the inmates I see in my facility. I went to school with them. Or somehow I got friends that are related to them. That's how small my city is. So a lot of these inmates, I know them. A lot of them, I graduated school with them. Now, a lot of them don't recognize me because I think in 99, I went up north to go live with my father for a couple of years, and then I came back. But the majority of these people in my town, I know them, or whatever. So we have a lot of gangs and stuff here, and that's very true. We've had corruptions. There was officers before they got hired who was already partaking with gangs, who was already um, had a corrupt lifestyle, but they just never got arrested for it, and they end up in law enforcement. And what ends up happening was that's how the corruption starts. You know, you got your friends getting arrested, getting caught up, you looking out for them. Next thing you know is you done got yourself involved. Now, you violating the oath. I know this one particular young man, he was an officer, and some friends of his, because he was an officer in one of them small country bunking towns where everybody knew everybody went to the same barber, everybody went to the same church, everybody graduated from the same school. That's how small that town is. And come to find out, doing a prostitution ring sting, I guess one of his friends was involved in it, somebody he knew in his small country town. So he relayed the information to his friend about the prostitution ring that was going to be exposed. I guess he knew his homeboy was a part of that. He told him that. And somehow, some way, it got out where, as an officer, you he shared some information from an investigation that he was not supposed to share, so he lost his job. It's like I said, women ain't the only ones that got to be careful. You men got to be careful. You may run into a homeboy that's in jail. You may run into a cousin. You may run into a nephew. Hell, you may run into your own son. Officers are not exempt from problems. Officers have had their wives come in drunk, DUI, husbands in, there, so officers have family issues too. So, also as a male officer, you got to be careful because you can easily get suckered. These guys know how to get in your head. They know how to beat your ego, eat out your ego, to make you feel less than a man, so you can break down and do extra shit for them that you shouldn't be doing. So, that's all I pretty much wanted to share for the evening, y'all. I just thought it was really imperative that We talked about how female correctional officers get mentally infiltrated by inmates. Anybody who's interested in this type of profession, if you have any questions, any other things you would like to ask me, maybe you wasn't able to think of any tonight, or you may have a daughter, you may have a son that's interested in joining corrections, and you want them to kind of know firsthand what they're getting into, or hell, you may even be interested. Because let's face it, it's a lot of jobs that are not hiring right now, unless you got your own business. And I will say this: anybody who gets on law enforcement, you will never be out of a job, because somebody's going to always break the law. Somebody's going to always break the rules. So law enforcement is one job you're never going to have to worry about getting laid off. That's one of the pluses. Secondly, my benefits are phenomenal. I don't pay a lot for benefits, especially in this day and age. All black families, black people, we need medical insurance. We definitely do. So the benefits are very phenomenal. Then there's also so many opportunities in law enforcement. You don't have to just work in a jail. It's other avenues. You can get certified so you can work in the streets. And work in the courts system. So it's so many opportunities. You don't just have to be confined to a jail or whatever. Um, what other point I wanted to make? The cons is, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with overtime. It's gonna happen. Some days you're gonna swear you're gonna get off at 10 o'clock, and you're not gonna get off at 10 o'clock because your relief decided to call in the last minute. That is going to happen. My pay is excellent. Um, this is the most money I've ever made since I lived on this earth. So the pay is excellent, but it's like anything else, too much is given, much is required. You're not going to work these type of jobs and get paid all this amount of money and don't have to deal with a lot of BS. That comes with the territory. But I definitely want to thank each and every one of y'all. Cartier, Good to Go Solo, my sis Poetic, Samuel, Bud Gang. I'm sure I'm going to miss a couple of y'all in here. Datorion, I'm sure some of y'all probably love because it was a long stream, and that's understandable because I know people got to get up for work in the morning. Counselor Murray, Burgundy Butterflies, make sure Queen, Ms. Odd. So if anybody I missed tonight, Red Mike Radio, American Negro, Larry H. I definitely want to thank everybody for hanging out with me tonight. I definitely plan on doing, I think probably Monday or Tuesday. I want to do another. I want to do a live stream. I may go ahead and do a panel with Kels or whatever. I want to talk about it's a lot of flagging going on in the YouTube sector. A lot of people getting their videos terminated. A lot of people are getting their channels flagged. I just found out today that Rollo got his channel flagged and shut down. Um, some other individuals' channels got flagged and shut down. Um, it's just a lot of flagging. It's just too much hateration going on in the black YouTube population. It's just a whole lot of beefs going on. There's too many content creators beefing with other content creators, airing each other's dirty laundry. I mean, black people, we all got so much bigger things on our plate to worry about. I don't know why so many people in the YouTube sector is just beefing and airing out each other's dirty laundry. Y'all telling each other's business. Y'all flagging people channels down. I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? What happened to everybody just being adults about it? If you don't like somebody, just stay the hell away from them. You don't have to get on this hating hiatus where you're going back and forth. But then again, growing up, that's asking people for too much. Telling people to grow up is asking people for way too much. But anyway, Definitely stay tuned, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell because we definitely I want to talk about these crazy YouTube beefs that are going on in the black YouTube sector. So that's most likely going to be the next subject I'm going to be hitting up on. So until then, y'all have a wonderful one. Is your girl, your diva, and knowledge, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth, and I'm going to always break you off a slice of knowledge. Until next time, y'all take care. I appreciate the support. Bye.